I'm Akhil. I am the co-founder and CTO of Chunker. And we're basically an open source API service that converts documents into RAG-ready data. And today I'm basically going to talk about what it takes to build amazing RAG experiences. I have a QR code up here, so you guys can scan it to get the presentation on your devices if you want to check it out later or follow along. Yeah, today I'm basically going to talk about it's the fact that what it takes to build an amazing RAG app is not benchmarks, but the experience that you build for your users. So I'm going to argue that there are no best practices for RAG. It's never about benchmarks. Your users aren't going to come onto your application and be like, yeah, it's like 9% better on this random search or anything else. What they are going to care about are these novel experiences that you're building for maximizing and optimizing their workflow. And for you as developers, success means being able to iterate on this as fast as possible and delivering this maximum value. I know this because before we started Chunker, we were working on Lumina, and it's a search engine for scientific literature. And we indexed all of science, and we got 35,000 monthly active users worldwide and made a search engine that was 5 times more relevant than Google Scholar. We were building for the biggest users you could probably have. They were researchers and professors, and they demanded high accuracy, and they were already industry experts, so giving them novel insights was actually extremely difficult. And this is what we had, right? That's RAG. It RAGs. You can find the chunks that you need, and you can give it an LLM, and it answers it, and it's probably correct. But this is obviously not what our users were looking for. So we made our RAG way better, right? We worked on the UI. We did everything we could possibly think of: semantic chunking, agentic RAG, like hypothetical document embedding. And we had a big problem. Our retention sucked. No matter how good we made our RAG, it did not matter to our users, right? And we were trying to figure out why that's true. We talked to hundreds of our users. We looked at their workflow. And we realized it's because we weren't optimizing what they're looking for. We weren't optimizing their workflows. So we started experimenting with our interfaces and just building a bunch of new tooling. And after all of this work, what really unlocked it for us was having a file viewer with citations on it. So we worked on all of our RAG, we did all of the search engine optimization, and none of that mattered. All that mattered to them was this one stupid feature that was actually surprisingly difficult to build. And the reason why that was surprisingly difficult to build was because every time we would go through an iteration, we would have to reprocess all of our data. We would have to go and reprocess 100 million PDFs and get this new thing that we didn't know that we needed. For in this case, it was document layout analysis. So what document layout analysis basically does is it takes some sort of a PDF file or any document, and it breaks it down into different structures and identifies its elements. So you have your page header, section header, text, etc. And now what you can do is you can use algorithms to intelligently chunk them. We do millions of pages every month, and this works for 99% of the documents. You don't have to do anything else. And it takes 10 milliseconds. What you need to do first, though, is you have to run an AI model to figure out your document layout analysis. And that was a bigger issue for us because we didn't know what document layout analysis is or how even to run it. And the moment we figure that out, now we have to go and reprocess all of our data. So honestly, when we were building Lumina, the biggest challenge that we had was actually just parsing PDFs. Every time we had to come up with a new feature, which is what matters, right? What it didn't matter to our users how good our chunks were. Yeah, maybe our RAG was getting better, our search was getting better, but what they really cared about were these specific workflows that you had to build. And every single time we would make a new feature, we would have to go and reprocess all of our data and make something new. So that's where we get to Chunker. It was such a big change. It was such a big pain. We pivoted from Lumina into Chunker after building it in-house. We open sourced it. You can host it yourself. There's no metering. And we basically built it so that you can make these highly configurable you can get these highly configurable outputs so that what you figure out is what your users want and let Chunker figure out how you make that. We converted it into a super easy to use Python package. We basically do everything we learned from Lumina, all the features that we built, everything that we wanted to build. We have document layout analysis. We have OCR. You can run LLMs on images and get their descriptions, and you can like get table OCR. Every single thing that you could possibly think of to make your application better can just happen through a Python package. So now you don't have to worry about whether or not your chunks are good or not. Most chunking is probably fine for you. What you really need to focus on is figuring out what is this feature that's going to unlock your attention and what is something that your users are looking for. Okay, my talk is very short. TLDR, don't get nerd sniped. Doesn't matter what the benchmarks say. You just got to focus on features, build fast, iterate fast, and that's your path to success.